Oh, I'm start teaching in Germany. Today is my first day for class.
Why Germany?
Yes, in Berlin.
Why have you decided to settle in Germany?
Which is art university. I already started my class in here.
Do you think that you might ever return home to China?
Well, China is my home, and but Germany, I will have my new career here as a professor. But I will go back and forth. I try, I think I can. Still, I think I can to go back and forth between China and Germany.
Do you think that might be possible? The Chinese authorities are not very supportive of you and your work.
I think still at this moment is very unclear, and I don't think. Well, I still think it could be safe, but I don't know. The situation is not very clear.
You were detained in China, weren't you? And you were separated from your family for some time. If you went back, do you think you would be detained again?
Well, I was detained for quite some time, and also I was in self-detention in over past 4 years, and as I can sense, maybe there's no immediate danger to put me in detention. But since the policy and all those law is not clear, so I will never know the danger. When it's going to happen or on what basis.
Will that stop you returning to China for now?
No, China is my home. I have my mom is still there, my family's members are there. So, and I still, think, there's many people I know who is in China. So I still consider is a place as my home.
I wonder if we might be able to just play you this clip from the Chinese ambassador. He was speaking at the weekend on the Andrew Marr show on Sunday, and he wasn't very complimentary about you and your work. This is what he had to say, sir.
I was interviewed on some of one of your programs. I told your presenter he's not my taste, and there are so many talented Chinese artists, but yet there are many are much better than him. Why he is so famous? Well, because he's critical of Chinese government. The reason he never been put behind bar. He was under investigation because his economic crime. He was suspicious of fraud counting, destroy accounting documents. What about the same artist? Do you investigate him if he has this criminal record in UK?
He was saying you're a criminal. How would you respond?
I have to feel very sorry about this ambassador. And first, he put several informations there. First, I was not detained, which if they call that to make somebody disappear in 81 days are not a detention, then that is even more dangerous than, to show how the state would see an individual's safety, or people who has different opinions can be put away secretly without notice of a lawyer or families, and without even notice where you are. And till today, there's no explanation about what happened. So I think this is a very dangerous situation. And about my art, I think I take it as a compliment for a state ambassador, which represent a kind of policy in past decades crushed millions of writers and artists. They simply lost their their dignity, their possibility to write or to practice art only because they have different opinions. My father was exiled. In that generation, millions of people was crushed. So if he thinks my work is not art, there's so many works better than my work. I just have I have no objection about it, because we just have very simply, we have a very we have very big difference about, aesthetic difference, philosophical difference. So I cannot really respond to that. And if he calls me a criminal, then which is contradiction. If I'm not even being arrested or even being put in jail, how can they call me a criminal? So, it tells this guy is a liar, is a professional liar, and he represents a state. So that tells the British, public how dangerous to have business with that kind of people.
If you feel that the ambassador is a professional liar, how do you feel about the reception that has been given to the Chinese president in the United Kingdom over the last 2 days?
Actually, I don't even watch that kind of reception. I think that's a business between states, and also I could understand that both states need each other so badly. That only can show that that kind of sign. But for British, I have to say, if they sacrifice very essential values just for this short-sighted, gain in business, this is wrong. This is absolutely lower their standard, and it's not going to have a very bright future in between them.
How will you feel towards the British Prime Minister, David Cameron, if he does not raise the issue of human rights with the Chinese president while he's here?
I think the British Prime Minister have a record on putting human rights aside, and which is a very bad strategy, and also is very bad in aesthetics, because this is really certainly doesn't represent the British people.
So if he doesn't raise the issue of human rights, how would you interpret that, and other people in a similar position to you that want a more democratic China?
I don't get your question.
Okay,
clearly.
so sorry. I will speak more slowly. Forgive me. If the British Prime Minister does not raise the issue of human rights, what will that mean to people like you, sir, and others who want a more democratic China?
I think China is going to change. China is moving very dramatically, and I think people believe in democratic movement, and people believes only democratic society, and to respect the very essential facts, and to have a clear society which represented a more judicial system, have a very better judicial performance, also have fairness and justice. So all those things has to come from a very strong joint effort from in very aspect. So when we see Cameron, which not put human rights as an issue, which will make people very disappointed.
May I ask you one final question about your memoirs? I believe that you have just signed a book deal for your memoirs. How difficult is it to compile memories for that writing when it was so challenging to keep notes while you were in China?
It is very difficult to get any kind of historical record, especially for my father's generation, because all the topics in relating to the Cultural Revolution or in relating to so-called early Chinese communist history are really forbidden to be talked about or to get any kind of truth. So there's no real memory books or textbooks or historical books which is not being censored, or even some certain topics still not allowed to be talked about. So to write this kind of book is extremely difficult because you simply just don't get that kind of information.
And a final question. If you could speak directly to the Chinese president today, what would you say to him? First, I would wish him a good trip. I think, yes, China do need to develop, and we do need to have a very stable condition for any kind of development. But this kind of development only can come from respect the truth, respect the history, and to really have strong values, which should only those values can make Chinese have a better future. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sky News this afternoon, and good luck with your new position in Germany as a visiting professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.